Okay, welcome everyone. I'm Adebisi Atewologun, the convener of our conference, Family Finance Conference 2021, and I'm super excited. I'm excited because this started as an idea, and today it's a reality. It's a reality because we are in this for a lifetime. We are in this for a lifetime, and honestly, a lot of things are happening in the world. We can't afford to look and say, ignore it, that we don't know what's happening. And it's high time we sit up and get serious about our family finance. Before now, people generally embrace personal finance as, the solution to financial literacy, that once they are literate in their finances, they are good to go. This is beautiful, but we have realized over the years that a good knowledge of family finance would help families to prepare ahead for the milestones that is coming behind, and how they will be able to not just live life by chance, one day at a time, but living life deliberately, intentionally, because everyone is a product of a family. I didn't drop from the sky. Somebody gave that to me. And everybody like that has such a history. We are all a product of a family. And at some point in time, there were times where we had to take some things that we didn't plan for. We didn't plan it. We didn't even anticipate that it's going to happen that way. Some people have very good cash flows, and over time, some things happen and they are like, wow, I wish I knew better. This is part of the reasons why we put together the Family Finance Conference. And the theme for 2021 is the visionary family. Why are we talking about the visionary family? The visionary family is a family that is not leaving their families to chance. The visionary family is a family that is saying, whatever happens, I'm going to take my chance. I'm going to make sure that the interest of my family is protected, and it goes beyond the money. It's about an all-encompassing parameters that we are going to be looking at. I'll tell you this. A lot of times people believe that in their families, they are not just there for a purpose, they are there to fulfill mandates. Yes, you're there to fulfill mandates. And that mandate is not going to be fulfilled by you running alone, like you're alone, there's nobody else around. Families have been faced with different challenges. And one of the major challenges is wanting to run this race all alone. It's either the man is trying to run the race alone, or the man feels it is his responsibility, or even the woman feels that it's her responsibility to just do what she needs to do. The team-centered focus in families is really lacking in the 21st century, especially now that there is a lot of awareness. Okay, thank you. Now that there's a lot of awareness. So we are intentional about family finance because we know that it is the secret behind generational wealth. We know that it is not just about creating generational wealth, but creating a name that will become a legacy that will outlive us. As Africans, things are happening in our environment, and you're wondering, why is it happening? We see companies that are in existence for some time, and after the demise of the owner, the founders, we don't get to hear anything about those companies after a while. They all go down the drain. And it's so unfortunate. And these are trends that have started with some things that we've been ignoring in our various families. This time of the year, people are planning to do something about their finances, to have a budget for 12 months. And you want to ask yourself, that 12 months, what happens after that 12 months? So when you have such a plan, you're actually not adequately prepared for what lies beyond that first 12 months. With this knowledge that we are going to be sharing at this conference, you'll be seeing why you ought to incorporate not just 1 year in your plans, but looking at it at the long-term range, and not just the long-term range, but thinking about what would happen if I should die today and I have children. What will happen to me? In the decision-making, that it's going to affect your decision-making. It's going to affect how you do your parenting. It's going to affect how you live your life. It's very good to go all out and make money. It's very good to begin to see ourselves like, as success. Like we would always say, shift, plan and make sure you do something that is going to challenge you. It's good to have very high expectations from life. But in all of these expectations, there has to be a place for balance. This is part of the things that we'll be discussing in this conference. A lot of times we have people that are doing stuff, making a lot of money. When we ask their children, do you want to do what your family, what your parents are doing? Would you like to be like them when you grow up? A lot of times children will tell you, no, if being successful is for daddy not to have my time, not to be present in my life, I don't want the money. I don't want that. We're not creating legacies if we're not really mentors to our children. This is why family finance is important, because it's going to put to perspective your quest to go all out and make money. Because as you're making money, you are telling yourself, what are the things that lies ahead of me? Can I really say that I'm inspiring my family members to want to be like me? Not necessarily that because you're a doctor, your children have to become a doctor. But you want to become a doctor that they will really, really be proud of and say, yes, I am happy for what this person is doing, and I would like to be associated with them. It's beyond just doing it. There's some parameters to go with this. When COVID struck, we're wondering what will happen. And then we heard statistics. From statistics, we could relate that there were human beings involved. From my working with some people didn't have what they call a contingency plan. And the contingency plan is beyond just putting money somewhere, but having a structure that if anything should happen to me, I want my spouse to be able to know that I have X, Y, Z here. And it doesn't just happen that way. There's a flow, there's a process. There's something that will happen. There's a structure that will be able to carry those things. A lot of families don't have this structure. And if you ask, some people will tell you, my husband don't trust me or my wife don't trust me. And if that is the issue, it's not something you should sweep under the carpet. It is something that you need to begin to address now. And don't wait until the whole thing becomes a source of concern or separation in the family, because over the years, it keeps getting worse. So you can be making so much money, but if that area is not addressed, then there is a problem. Every family will go through a process of, blending in their structures. And that structuring is what we are going to be discussing briefly under what we call the financial intimacy. Financial intimacy is very important because if you don't have it, it will be difficult for you to be able to model your family finance to your future generations. And if that is not happening, what you're doing is you're just building castles in the air. They're not going to last for long, because when you have children that are saying, I don't want this, or they know that there is a difference, they capitalize on it. And if someone go and tell mommy and say, mommy, I need this. I know you always give it to me. Daddy is like this. For you, you are like this. And then they go meet mommy and say, mommy, I want this, and I want you to be able to give it to me because I know you always attend to me. So once the children sense that there is no financial intimacy in the home, there is a wall that starts widening up. Before you know it, it's going to affect parenting and it's going to affect the family legacy on the long run. These we are going to be talking about because we need to create this awareness. We need to let people know that it's good to go all out and get the money. You can be yourself. You can make money. You can manage your money. You can use discretion, but have financial intimacy. How do you do that? These we are going to be discussing. And then we know that people will be telling you, yes, invest in real estate, make money, buy houses, earn rental income. Some people have houses that they have bought. They have lands that they have bought and they're not liquid. And because they're not liquid, it's difficult for them to convert those assets to money when they need it, as a when due. So you find people having so much of those lands, and then when the time comes for them to utilize it, they don't have access to it. This we're also going to be talking about in today's conference by Mr. Olatunbosun Oke, who is an experienced real estate agent, who is going to be talking to us about why you should do that. He manages properties for people, for companies, and the things that you need to look out for, and so that you incorporate it in your planning. You don't just say, this year I'm going to buy a house, this year I'm going to do this. You're going to buy a house because in 5 years' time, your child is going to be having a specific need at that time. And that house you're buying will be able to cater for it. The cash flow from that house should be able to cater for it. When you have this mindset, you're intentional about how you invest in real estate. You don't just say you want to buy land or you want to buy a house because you're buying the house. And then at the end of the day, when you have a goal that you're sending your children to school abroad, you are intentional about ensuring that as they're going to school abroad, all the landed properties that you have can easily be converted to what will be accessible to them. And all of these are things that we will be giving to you at the conference. So sit back, grab a pen and the paper, because every speaker has a unique message that's going to help your family finance. And then, generally we'll tell you that the visionary family is a family that looks beyond here and now. A visionary family is a family that is not driven by money alone, but is driven by real wealth, is driven by relationships, is very intentional about creating that wealth, that they will look at their children and include them in their processes because they want them to understand. Sometimes you might not really know what you should do. A visionary family is a family that is eager, ready to go all out and learn what they need to do, and not just say, this is how we do things, this is how we will continue to do it, because times are changing. And because times are changing, we don't want to just sit back and relax. For instance, if you're a salary earner and you have investments both locally and internationally, it's a beautiful one. With a good knowledge of family finance, it's going to open your eyes to see beyond how much you have, but how what you have can serve you in the next 10 years. So you want to test your job now. That job that you have in the next 10 years, is it going to be relevant to your family finance? If it's not going to be relevant to your family finance, what processes do you have in place to evolve out of it into something that will give you a stable source of income? Now, most times you just say, yes, plan for 10 years time, but people don't really understand what lies ahead of them. These are things that we're going to be talking about, because in most families, the family that runs on autopilot goes through 7 phases. And these 7 phases we'll be sharing much later in the conference, so you don't want to miss any of the sessions. But today, I'll just be talking about how do families even measure their health, the health of their family finance. How do you measure the health of your family finance? You don't measure the health of your family finance based on your ability to meet your current needs alone. You measure the health of your family finance based on your ability to meet not just your current needs, but your potential future needs. I'll give you this example. You have a family, if you're a member of a family. Let me start with a single. You're single, you're not yet married, and you're earning money, yes. But you have parents, and they're going to be having medical bills that you'll be incurring over time in maintaining them. That's when you begin to think like a visionary family member. Like you're not thinking about, but daddy's going to take care of themselves. You're looking at what your parents have currently. Will it cater for their needs? If it's not going to cater for their needs, you as a member of the family, you're a contributor. You're not just a consumer. right? You're a part of the solution, and you're looking at it, how do we meet their needs? So you look at it that, okay, in the next 10 years, my family is going to need X amount in terms of, their health management. So what measures are you going to begin to put in place right now before you get married? That's what a visionary family member that is single is doing. Because if you're not doing this, you'll be doing yourself a great disservice, because you are in that family. They've been serving you. They've been nurturing you from when you're a child to when you became an adult. So you need to begin to think about, what do you give back to this family? So if you're single, you're not excluded in the family finance structure because you're a part of that family. We say that a visionary family says, I am a part of the solution, not a victim of the problem. I am a part of the solution, not a victim of the problem. As Nigerians, for instance, we tell ourselves that we're waiting for the next government to come in, maybe things are going to change. But then things are not just going to change automatically. We're streaming this on YouTube. You can also watch from YouTube, Adebisi Atewologun. So you are intentional about this, that, see, I am not a part of, I am part of the solution. And once you begin to see yourself that you're not a victim of the problem, whether there is bad government, whether there is a good government, you're not a victim. You are a solution. You have to look at, what do you want to bring to the table? So as a single person, before you get married, you have a trust fund. You have a special fund that you're setting aside that, see, when I get married, this fund is going to be available to take care of the needs of my family, of my parents. So when I get married, I'll be able to focus on my own family. That's what a visionary family person does. You don't think about here and now. You don't think about, well, I have food, I'm not in debt, I'm okay. No, you are intentional about it, because that's how you are creating impact to your family. And for people that are married, you look beyond all of this. You look beyond all of this because you're not just thinking about your own family members, you're thinking about your nuclear family, which is very, very important. And you need to test the health of your family finance. How do you test the health of your family finance? You look at the consistency of flow. Are you earning daily? Are you earning monthly? Are you earning weekly? When you look at all your sources of income, some people will say they have shares, they have real estate, they have money is coming from business. Money is coming from business. How regular is it? Is it a regular income? The money that you're earning from shares, how much is it? Is it something that will feed you for a month? So you need to be realistic about it. And once you know that, see, so there's something we call the consistency of flow would help you to know that, see, I still have work to do. So you're not just resting on your hours and saying, I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm not owing anyone. No, it's beyond all of that, because the moment you start living for myself and I alone, there's a limitation to how much success you can create. A visionary family looks beyond themselves. They look at even the world. For instance, when with this revolution that we are creating, right? We want to have Nigerians, we want to have families that will rise up and say, how much is Nigeria's debt? How much is it? Is it 50 billion naira or $50 billion? And want just 50 families in the whole of Nigeria to raise $1 billion and clear off Nigeria's debt, so that we can influence who is going to be in power, so that we can say that this is the party that should rule and this is the party that shouldn't rule. That's how a visionary family member thinks. Because if you're still telling your children that, well, we are in this mess because our president is not doing this, because there's corruption in the land, you're still telling them to begin to think like they're a victim of the problem. No, you're telling your children that, see, I want to, when you grow up, to be able to do something that will help to remove the debt that we're owing in this land. So the more money we have, the more clout we are to be able to influence life, touch lives, and, instill what we want to happen. You have a voice when you be able to know that this money that you are making, you will be able to use it to touch lives and influence policies. And we don't do that sitting down and thinking like a victim of the problem. You do that sitting down and thinking that, see, I can do something. So a visionary family doesn't tell their children, it's because this government is like this and it's always been like that. And then they begin to think and wish that they're not Nigerians. No, see, we can't influence where we're born, but we can influence what we can do in the country. And these are the things that the visionary family person does. So the major thing that we're talking about is I am a part of the solution and not a victim of the problem. So you begin to weigh your conversations and your mindset around this. Are you really a victim of the problem? Because if you're seeing yourself as a victim of the problem, it's really difficult for you to be able to think about beyond here and now. So when you're doing your next year budget, for instance, you look at your 10 years goal. By the end of this conference, we're going to look at some things together. In 10 years, what would your family needs be? And then you now work it down and say, okay, this next 1 year, this is what it's going to be like. So you're doing your 1 year budget as a part of a 10-year budget. That way there's a continuity and there's motivation. So that way, when you wake up every day, you're telling yourself, am I meeting what I need to do? What do I need to do differently? We are seeds. We're a part of somebody. Like for instance, just like a seed, a mango seed contains a mango tree and even several other mango trees. That's the way we are as human beings. So you're not just thinking about yourself. You're thinking about the seeds that is inside of you and future generations to come. And why are we saying all of this? It is enough for us as Africans to be looking at here and now and not to see that we are the solution. And there's an analysis that we can do over time with time. I'm going to explain it better. That you say, okay, if you're going to need X amount, you can save a consistent amount to generate a particular amount in the future. What would that do for you? Because, for instance, you have children, and your children's school fees is constant. Whether you are alive, whether you are not alive, your children's school fees will have to continue to roll. It will continue to roll because nobody is going to tell you, pay your children's school fees for you. The best they will tell you is, why don't you just change your school and go to somewhere cheaper, right? So, but it's your responsibility to ensure that all these things are happening. Now, if you're planning for next year, just looking at school fees for next year alone, you're doing yourself a disservice. Why? Because in the next couple of years, they are here with you for a fixed number. Till when you're going to raise them, you have an analysis of how much it costs you to raise your children to secondary school, to master's level, for instance. If you know the amount in dollars, for instance, and you begin to focus on raising that money in the next 2 years, something is going to happen to you. If you're able to raise it in 2 years, you will be able to focus on creating a more stable long-term income that will help you beyond raising your children. But if you're focusing on just this year alone, you become overwhelmed very easily. You're just aiming very low and you're not exercising your power. There's a lot that can change when you know that this is what you have ahead of you. It opens your brain up and you just know that this is what I need to do. So if you need to change your circle, if you need to begin to pray differently, if you need to begin to act differently, you would know it and you start doing it. So you don't just live your life to chance, think that all will be well. A visionary family has to get rid of the only me syndrome. Only me syndrome is not going to do anybody any good. Only me syndrome in men, only me syndrome in women. It's not going to do anybody any good. We have to begin to embrace togetherness. Togetherness in the family, togetherness in how we do things, togetherness, because if you're running the race alone, you're not leaving room for succession, you're not leaving room for adequate accountability. One partner is advancing very fast, the other partner is just looking, I don't know how to do things and I'm just looking. It's going to affect because the thing is as strong as its weakest link. So I work with couples generally to help them see that, you're in this together. And when you go through those analyses, your eyes will be open to see, I can't do this all alone. So if you need to begin to see how to develop your partner to get to that level where both of you will be running things together, you know that you need to do it. So the era of I don't want you to know how much I earn and all those things will not be there. And Mrs. Amaka is going to talk more about it in her own session. So we've talked about consistency of flow. If you can work your income to daily income, then you'll be able to plan better than earning on a monthly basis. So you are intentional about shortening the consistency of flow. Meaning, if you're always earning every month, begin to work towards earning every week. You begin to work towards earning every day, and even earning multiple times within a day. You're closer. But you can't achieve it if you don't focus on it. So a visionary family focuses on it, goes all in, and continues to tweak things until they get there. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's a mindset that you have, that you embrace, and you begin to make to become a reality. You create options for yourself. Creating options for yourself is beyond, I want to have a plan B, I want to have a plan C. Creating options in terms of your nutrition. If you have enough money, you can say, this is the kind of ingredients I want in my bread, this is the kind of ingredients I want in my cake, this is the kind of soap I want to use in my house. You know, one of our speakers is going to talk about those things tomorrow. So you want to learn some skills because you want to create options for yourself. You don't just want to take everything that is forced down your throat because you don't know how to do it. You don't have an option. So because if you can't do it, you might even discover some passion that are inherent in you that you didn't know or never knew existed. So everything has to come with a balance. Everything has to come with a structure. A visionary family is intentional. You are not just living life and saying, I want to live life. Don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. We're not asking you to be worried. We're asking you to have a sense of foresight, because just like an eagle, you see far ahead and you prepare from today. And that's way you're not just, things just doesn't happen to you just like that. You know, I want to wrap up by saying this about the 7 phases of family finance. We have the before yes I do phase, which for singles is a time when you're in courtship, you know that this is the person you want to get married to, you're convinced, and you're like, okay, I want to get married to this person. There are certain things that you need to ask. There are certain questions you need to ask. And if you don't know those questions, you will just be getting yourself into a discovery after you get married. For instance, it's possible for you to go if somebody is a saver or a spender before you get married to them. That way you're prepared, you're more objective in your decision, and then you make better decisions. But if you don't know all of these, it will be difficult for you to begin to blend in marriage, because the reason why a lot of people don't end up having issues in their first 5 years of marriage is because of unrealistic expectations. So before yes I do in family finance is very important, because you know what you want, you ask the right questions, and then once you understand that these are the things that this person has, you'll be able to harness it and maximize it. The second phase is the Mr. and Mrs. phase. The Mr. and Mrs. phase is very important, because that's when you begin to say, okay, if we're going to be spending X and X amount, then we need to carry ourselves alone. But these other amounts, go ahead and handle it. These other areas, go ahead and handle it. If you don't have an objective discussion around these, you're going to have issues. And those issues, if they're not well treated, you'd have problems. Now, this stage is very good for you to have. It's not just decision making, but then you also have to know that ahead of you are a lot of things, because you want to get married. Part of the reasons why you're getting married is procreation. You want to have children. If you want to have children, that is the time for you to begin to lay a solid foundation, knowing that, see, there's something that is coming ahead. You're going to be having children. What do you do about it? How do you go about it? The third stage is the mommy and daddy phase. The mommy and daddy phase will open your eyes to the fact that, see, I am now a parent. So a lot of parents just know that I want to have children. They don't know the financial implication from, I did a test, they said I'm pregnant, to seeing the doctor, the gynecologist, the optician, the delivery, whether it's normal or CS, or you're delivering outside Nigeria or within Nigeria. All of this comes with a cost, right? You know, the expenses that are associated with it. You need to have a good knowledge of it. If you have a good knowledge of it, it's going to help you to make an objective decision, right? Beyond that, they will have the getting busy phase. If you live your life based on autopilot, you're going to be having challenges. Why? Because you realize that I have the first, I have the second, things that I'm not as liquid as I used to be, because the needs are coming, they're increasing every day. So you get busy. At that phase, you become very busy, you're running, and if you're not very careful, your relationship will not be in proper alignment. So the husband wakes up, goes this way, the wife wakes up, goes the other way, right? So if you're not intentional, you're going to be having issues. So these are the things that we're talking about in family finance. I'm going to end it at this phase. I'll continue next time when I'll be talking about the family finance. But this is what you need to know. Everybody needs to know this, that you don't live your life on default. So at this point, I'm going to bring it in as our first facilitator for our family finance conference. And she's somebody that I respect a lot. Her name is Mrs. Florence Karl Ogwu, and a lot of things that she has been doing in the family life space has started way back in over 15 years ago. She's passionate about the family. You can't encounter Mrs. Florence Ogwu and not be passionate about the family, and she's somebody that when you come in contact with her, you would learn more about all those things. So I will be bringing her up, but before I bring her up, I want to check if she's here while I read out her profile. Okay, good, she's here. So I'll spotlight her, and then I would read her profile. She is a dynamite. When you say someone is a dynamite, you would want to explode when you're around her, because if you have been taking family issues with like a pinch of salt, you begin to see that it's not just a pinch of salt. It is real. It is major. It is a major issue. So going on how to make money is good, but make money with sense. Make money with vision. Make money with a sense of purpose. At this point, I welcome you on, Mom. Coach Flo is what I call her, because she just flows. And I just love her person. And with a standing ovation, let's make welcome Mrs. Florence Karl Ogwu.
Hey, make I clap for myself if they don't want to clap for me. Hey. These are the things that will make us miss live sessions. If it was a live session, now you can even dance. Hey. Especially when you are being called to do what you love to do. So that's the kind of excitement we keep. Thanks so much. It's so much of and honor to do this. Thank you. Oh, I have my sister in the house, Sister Amaka. Good to see you, sis, and every other person here online. I'd like to say thank you. I have about 25 minutes to do this, and I will trust God. It's only God that can help me. I will trust God to do this in 25 minutes. So I will try as much as possible to make it very interactive, very short, and we trust the Holy Spirit to do what only Him can do. Thank you so much, my sister, Mrs. Atewologun. This is so amazing. In fact, when you were talking, I was just thinking that I say, hey, this woman is on fire. See points churning out. Okay, amazing. I think I specifically, amongst all the things, all the wonderful things you said, I like one of the things you ended with, which is going to be what I will continue with, that it is good to make money, but make money with sense. I had to just write it down. I had to write it down. Make money with sense. Because in my years of working with families, parents, one of the major things they said to me, in fact, some of them, they are fast to remind me that part of the money they are making is to pay people like us. Parents. A prayer point. So sometimes I have to pray for parents. As in the way they can use emotional blackmail. Use emotional blackmail. So are you saying we should not? Mrs. Karl, so how do we pay you for therapy? How do you pay for this? I said, be calming down. Parents, be calming down. Oh, don't be boboing us. So we are not saying you don't make money. We are not saying that at all. As a matter of fact, if you live in Nigeria, because I want to believe that we have people from different countries. I want to believe it's a global word. But I'm in Nigeria. I am in Nigeria now. I can travel though, but for now, I am based in Nigeria. And I am doing this from Lagos. So if you live in Nigeria, then in Lagos, I don't know about other places, the cost of living has gone up, actually. It has gone up. So people like us are talking, especially with this kind of topics. I will not say you should go and close your shop, close your work, resign from your work, and go and sit down parenting. You'll be frustrated. As a matter of fact, you will not be parenting effectively. You can't parent effectively when your account is dry. That's the truth. It works with the mind. Parents are caring. Parents are concerned about the well-being, because when we talk about well-being, most of what we talk about is the emotional well-being, the psychological well-being, the spiritual well-being, and all of that. But there is the financial well-being. Your children need to go to a good school. They need to eat well. They need to dress well. Now, those are things that speaking in tongues said, yeah, it can give you ideas. It will not just, manna will not fall from heaven. So when you pray, if you're a Christian, okay, I think non-Christians pray, but when you pray to this, my own God, that is your God, to your daddy, and then you ask for, you need money to take care of your children and all of that, what he gives you is wisdom. So one of the things I'm going to be sharing with us quickly is how to now parent effectively, even as you make money. Okay, so I'm just going to be giving us some tips. I like to welcome everyone on the platform. When I see parents like this joining sessions like this, I am very excited about the future, sincerely, because over the years, or before now, we've had parents living in denial. You agree with me? You have, okay, Mr. Sono is here. He's asking if I'm sure the recording will be available. Good to have you here, sir. Okay. So okay, let me just go forward quickly. So I'm going to be talking to us about family finance and parenting. And in brackets, I wrote creating. Okay, I narrowed it down to, okay, it's live on YouTube. I narrowed it down to the SMART model. All right. So my topic is family finance and parenting, but using the SMART model. And then in bracket, I said creating a legacy. And all we are going to do in the process of parenting, one of the major things we should think of is legacy. Legacy is key. So I am going to try as much as possible to narrow this down to how you can create legacy, parent, yet make money. I'm not going to tell you how to make money. I'm just going to explain to you that it is still important to make money, but make money with sense so that you don't lose yourself. All right. Taking that last line from my sister, Mrs Atewologun, and what she said, make money with sense so you don't lose yourself. When I say self, it's a combination of so many things. If you lose your kids, you have lost yourself. Because at the end of the day, that's the legacy. It's part of the legacy we're talking about, right? Earning without losing your family. So being in this conference, one of the major things, even when you're asking questions, one of the major things you should look out for is how to earn without losing your family. A lot of people have lost their family. Okay, I remember that I was going to appreciate everyone here in a world where some people are either ignorant, some people are proud, some people, I mean, when we had our IG live yesterday, one of the things I mentioned was that some parents are intentionally living a proud life. Like they don't want to, I mean, they don't want to admit that denial is there, but some people are proud and they're living in denial, so their own is double. Okay, but when you now have parents in the midst of all of this that have decided to dedicate their time, understanding that when it comes to family, visionary family and parenting these days, we have to be on our toes. We have to be very intentional. So sessions like this cannot just go to waste. So when we have parents like this attending the sessions, it makes life beautiful. It gives hope to the future and to the next generation. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about as we create the SMART model and in creating legacy parenting, I would like to say that it is important to create your SMART family system. I call it the SFS. Create your SMART family system. I take my time to emphasize on creating your SMART family system, because look at Nigeria, for instance, or look at the country you are in, for instance. If you ever have any complaint, I'm sure you want to narrow most of the complaints to systems. I hear people saying systems. If you can put systems in place, but in the family, systems do not have to be rigid. So we are not saying that in our family, this is how we do it from the beginning and so it works. The family system has to be innovative, has to be flexible, suiting the different personalities in the family. However, it is important to at least have the system. So we're not saying that the system should be, you should run it in a military way or in a, just one way system. That's not it. You are creating a system where you understand that every member of the family is important. You are creating a system that will accommodate your earning process, your earning power. You create a system that will accommodate your effective parenting, effective and smart parenting system. Do you get it? So you create a system that works with you. Systems are, we can get perspectives, but we cannot just import certain systems. Every family must have their system. Now we have the family like a country, and that's why we always say that your family is your nation. The same way in a country, you have different states, you have different provinces, you have different local governments here, like we call it here in Nigeria. Some places they call it maybe province and all of that. So the same way in the family that is a nation, you have smaller departments, and parenting is just one of it. Don't forget, we have marriage, we have other things. So when you create system, it feeds the other smaller departments in the family. It will feed those other departments. When you don't create a system, marriage may be working and parenting is suffering. Parenting may be working and marriage is suffering. Are we getting this? So creating a system puts everybody on their toes and everybody know what they are supposed to deliver on. So my first encouragement to us today is to create a smart family system. Now I run the smart model, the smart family, the smart kids, the smart parenting. I run the smart model, and that word smart is a combination of a lot of things. So I had to put it there that creates your smart family model, yours, because the family model that will work for Florence, Karl, Ogwu may not work for Adebisi Atewologun, may not work for Amaka, Omo-Oikeh. It may not work for other people. The one that works for Adebisi Atewologun may not work for Florence. And that's why one of the things I'm also going to mention here is killing competition in parenting. Killing competition. I have had parents that said, oh, because a particular child or a particular family takes their children to another expensive school by default. So when we talk about this finance, some people are just intentionally or unintentionally killing themselves because of competition in parenting. We're going to get there briefly. Okay, I am rushing, trying to see what we can achieve in 25 minutes. All right, so just try and create your smart family system. I call it the SFS. Number 2, have a clear career path that suits your SFS. Have a clear career path. I, Florence Ogwu, I am very careful to tell someone to resign from their job. I think I mentioned at the beginning. No, I don't do that. I have seen, so when we talk about the family finance and parenting, it is not necessarily you resigning from your job and sit down parenting. I have seen people that said they are entrepreneurs, they run their businesses because they want to have time for their family. At the end of the day, they're lost to their family. Because having time is not the same as sitting at home. People sit at home and they are absent, actually, especially in the days of social media. You know, this thing is like, it's just like, I don't know. You don't even know how it takes over you. It will possess you such that you realize that you have had your phone for. So if you have 24 hours in a day, you have had your phone for at least, let me not exaggerate, say 15 hours. Imagine holding your life for 15 hours the way you hold your phone. Or hold your children, or hold your husband for 50 hours, or hold your career, or hold something. You get it? So I'm not saying that when we talk about have a clear career path that suits your SFS, it has to be that you probably, let's say you studied something else and you need to sacrifice that particular career because you want to have time, you want to spend time from the family. No. And that's why it's important for you to sit down and look at what works for you. The system, your family system, will help the process of choosing a career path. I have seen parents that sacrificed their career, in quotes, sacrificed certain things, and they used it against the children. I have seen parents that said, oh, because they want to have enough time to spend with their children, they decided to cut their income. And at the end of the day, they are struggling through the process. So if you can sit down and intentionally work on it, carve your career path, create something that works, you will realize that nothing will suffer. Neither your career, nor your parenting, nor your children, nor your family, nor your life will suffer. You see all these things we're talking about? Let me quickly remind you that I'm sure some of them are not new. I'm sure some of you know this point, even if Florence Ogwu is saying this in a different way, but you've heard something like that before. So I like to always think that sometimes our problem is not what we have heard. No, not what we have not heard. It is what we have not done with what we have heard. So I want some of us to be very intentional, like taking a baby step with these things, with this conference, so that we make a lot out of it. Because it can be as simple as just sitting down after this class and go and sit down. Let me work on my career path again and see how it will suit my family, my family, or my family life, or my parental life, and see what you come up with. So that at the end of the day, you don't feel like you have lost some years. You don't feel like you have lost some things. Because in the process of saying all of this, I tell parents, choose your sacrifices. I'm not saying you should dump your dreams because you want to parent. And the same way we are saying that you should not, it's not as if you should close your shop or close your business. When I say shop is a combination of maybe your company and all of that. It's just the way we use it here. Because you want to parent. No. If you can sit down and be strategic about it, you will realize that you can actually have, I'm sure during this conference, they will talk to us about how we can have several streams of income. You can have several streams of income and still be parenting properly. Everything has got to do with being strategic, planning, and prayers. When I pray, I tell God, give me capacity. I can't even help myself. Can I help myself? I can't. Some people have one stream of income. They can't even be there for themselves, let alone be there for their children. And I've seen some people that have at least 4 streams of income, yet they are doing parenting carefully, properly. So please have a clear career path. Have a clear career/income path, okay, that will suit your smart family system. That is your SFS. Number 3, be on the same parenting page with your spouse. This is a big problem, even as it concerns finance. So one spouse is thinking that you should go to a school where you pay at least 300,000 or 400,000 for school fees. And the other spouse is saying that, no, it is not necessary. And then that will bring about another rancor in the family. So when it comes to parenting, because you have these kids together, be on the same page. It will influence and affect your finance, how you budget money on each of your children, or even if you have just one. When daddy is going west and mommy is going east, that is what the problem usually is. It even has got to do with parenting models and parenting styles. When someone, a parent is being archaic and the other one is being model. When someone is using the 19th century model and the other one is using the 21st century model. You know, when someone believes that in this age and time, women will leave the house and go to work. Meanwhile, the man is coming from a space where his mom sat at home and parented 6 of them. Those 2 people are not on the same page. Obviously, they're going to have issues. But when you're on the same page, even if the wife is a full career path lady, it still works because it is being on the same page. The man understands that boiling water does not reduce my man. I wanted to use man, let me say manness. It doesn't reduce me being the head of the home. Cooking. In fact, I have a particular mentor that I spent some time with them. You know, I realized that this man actually loves cooking. In fact, I hope nobody will know this person I'm talking about. So that, because it looks like we used to enjoy the meal more than when he cooks. So he was the better cook. And then the wife at a time had a career path that she had to leave the house in the morning and come back in the evening. Imagine if they were not on the same page. It will, in fact, in this part of the world, they call it a fraud. They say he has done something to him. He has done something. She has done something to him. And that's why he's just, you get it. But these people understand. They're on the same page. It is not a woman thing to change diaper. It is a human, it is the parenting thing. It is for parents. It's for 2 people that have decided to have children. It is our children. And as I like what people say these days, have you realized that there's a trend? When the woman is pregnant, they say things like, we are pregnant. I like that. I didn't enjoy that part. So I was telling my husband, I said, you know, I did it during my time. I was pregnant in terms of saying it. And it's even if, I mean, when you say we are pregnant, there's this feel, even if maybe they carry on board, just say we are pregnant. Yeah, we are pregnant. You get it. But in my own time, I was pregnant. I was very pregnant. What you hear the way, especially some very team-centered couples, where they say, "Oh, I want to bless the name of the Lord. We got pregnant." That one is nice. You get it. So we're doing all of these things together, okay? So let's be on the same parenting page. If you're here on this platform and you realize that, oh, that's true, I'm not actually on the same page, because what happens is that I'm going to talk about parenting budgeting quickly, because what happens is that you're supposed to make a budget for parenting. They don't do it. They don't do it. Most people don't budget something on parenting. So take that budget on parenting to being on the same page, so that you don't have different different ideas or different plans when it has got to do with budgeting. So being on the same page is key. And we have consciously eliminate parenting competition. Do you realize that actually parents compete among themselves? I mean, parents, husband and wife, compete. But I'm not even talking about that for now. Oh, it happens a lot, but time will not permit it. Mrs Atewologun decided to give me 25 minutes, and that's what I would do. Okay, she has even sent me a reminder, so I will end very soon. However, I'm sure we'll have some other time to talk about this too, how we can eliminate parenting between parents. But this one, I'm talking about competition, or eliminate competition in parenting. This time, I'm talking about competition amongst other parents. So your child goes to a particular school and you feel inferior, not knowing that your feeling is affecting the way you relate with your child unconsciously. Yes, sometimes we are not conscious of the way we relate with our children, the way we transfer aggression, the way we transfer our seemingly failure. We don't know how, but it affected the way we transfer our self-esteem. So you don't feel good enough that your child is attending a particular school. You are feeling, so it's an esteem thing. You're competing with other parents, even dressing. You see a particular child, the way the child is dressed, and then all those things they are major killers of parenting when we compete. So please, as much as possible, eliminate parenting. That's what affects the finance too, because some parents can actually make do with what they have, but for competition. So you earn 500,000 naira in a month. There are a couple of things it can do for you. See the way I just say 500,000 naira. I see 500 is even very big. If you ever, glory be to God. And then you see someone that is probably doing 3 million in a month, and the lifestyle is automatically high, even with the children and all of that, and you want to do the same thing. So we need to try as much as possible to eliminate competition in parenting, and as much as possible have a parenting budget. This one is affecting me. I see parents, they don't understand that it is important to have parenting budgets. Parenting budget has to do with the other aspect of your children, taking care of your children in other aspects, not necessarily buying them clothes, not necessarily taking them shopping, but contributing to their moral life, their growth, their development. So I mentioned earlier in passing that I run an online school for parents, and you still, in fact, I've told them next year I'm not even my fee will increase, and we won't even beg parents to attend. It seems like parents do not have budget for that, because when it comes to parenting, you have to be in partnership with parenting experts. Experts are not saying they know it all, but at least they have dedicated some time that you don't have to dedicate. Yes, they have dedicated some time researching on some things that you don't have the time, and we do not blame you. You're a banker, I'm a parenting expert. We are both experts in our own rights. There are some banking things that I will go. I need to ask you. And so there are some parenting things that you need to ask me. And then I have something I want your child to attend, and you're telling me that you don't have a budget for it. I want to appeal to Association of Parents. If you know me and I know you, have budget for me. Have budget for me next year. And I want to believe that I'm speaking on behalf of every other person. I'm speaking on behalf of my sister Amaka. You see her. Have budget for Amaka. Don't think we're going to be doing bless you. It is the blessing that has given us. God is blessing us. Have budgets. I mean, this is really important, because you hear parents saying that, oh, I maybe next time I didn't plan for this. So please, parenting budgeting is very important. Okay, and then okay, have a parenting goal. Have a parenting. Okay, somebody's asking for me to explain on parenting, on budgeting as it comes to parenting. How much will you invest in parenting? That's what I'm saying. I'm sure you budget money for housekeep, food, 50,000 naira. Please depend. That depends on your family size. Electricity, XYZ. This XYZ. Intentionally put parenting. A lot of things are happening that some experts are taking extra time to make research, build content. We do this thing full time. We are full-time professionals as it concerns this. I have never picked up any job, any other job in 10 years. I'm telling you the truth without exaggeration. As a matter of fact, I have actually never picked up any other job apart from this in 15 years, because the person I worked with too is an authority in this field. So imagine me going to sit down in the back. That's like a pastor going to count money. So some of us are, we have put our life into this. We come up with programs that will benefit us. So we work with trends. We work with things that are happening. A parent sent me a message yesterday of a particular trend, things that are happening. And then she said, God bless you, Coach Flo. I said, yes, I like the God bless you. But I hope you guys know that we are sacrificing time. I'm sure every other expert on this platform will understand. So we are saying that when you are budgeting for food, when you are budgeting for XYZ, budget for parenting, budget for buying books, budget for sending your children for courses. Put it in the budget and encourage every other person out there to do the same. That's what I made. And then quickly, as I begin to round up, have a 10-year goal in parenting, and even as it affects your finance. So in the next 10 years, how would your finance have affected your parenting? What would you have done differently? And use the age to how old would your kids have been? So if you want to send your kids abroad for study, I mean, it should be well planned. You'll know that my child is 10 years now. In the next 10 years, my child is supposed to be in this level of education, or my child is supposed to have achieved this. So have such goals. It will help you plan. Then lastly, get a parenting tribe. I tell a lot of people, yeah, thank you. Have a parenting tribe. It is very important. No one parents in isolation. You will kill yourself this age and time. Things are coming up. Things are coming up. I took a class the other day and I was talking to children about gender identity, and I realized that a lot of them have different knowledge about gender identity. They were asking questions that were so shocking, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is serious. This is serious. So imagine there is no community that you belong to, because it's such communities that they will talk to you about the trend, about the things that are happening. But we don't just talk about trends. We talk about solutions too. So have such tribe that will feed your parenting system. And it is such tribe that probably can suggest different things to you, other earning capacities, other earning ways, things that will help you make more money. Like I said at the beginning, earning without losing your family. Such tribes will give you a lot of assistance in achieving that. So I like to believe that we have gotten one or two things from this session. I trust God that we will not just get those things, we will apply them, because application is what is more important. We are so filled with knowledge, but application is what we need in order for us to create a lasting legacy and to parent our children aright. I hope with these 2 points of mine, I have been able to convince you. I did debate when I was in school, and not to convince you that you have all it takes to be a smart parent. Thank you so much.
Wow, wow, wow. I said it. She's going to blow our minds, and she did it. She did it. I am super excited. If you want to connect with Mrs. Florence Ogwu, she's on Instagram, she's on Facebook. She's passionate about family. And honestly, she's my children's coach, parenting coach, and I am super, super proud of her, because a visionary family is a family that is intentional about how they're doing their lives, how they are raising their children. Because when we're talking about legacy, you are not just living life because you're doing things the way you want to. So I hope we've been able to put down some things, and we are ready to roll. We're ready to roll. So we are next to the next speaker is Mr. Olatunbosun Oke. I'm going to spotlight him now, and then I'll read his profile. before I read his profile, I need you to know this. A lot of us, we have properties, or we have intention of having properties, and some of those properties, you realize that they are there, but if you're not very careful, they're not yielding the income that you want, especially as at when you need it. So you want to be intentional about how much money you tie down in real estate. Because people will tell you, come and buy this land, come and buy this property. You just keep buying, but you're not very sure about the how much you'll be getting vis-a-vis your family needs, vis-a-vis your cash flow, your future cash flow. So you want to be intentional about it. Mr. Atewologun manages people's properties. It helps you to make the most of your property. So if you need to develop it, if you need to touch it up, if you need to buy land in a place other than the other place, how much you make from it, it will help you to do all of that. So we didn't just bring someone that's into real estate because we don't want someone to come and tell you, come and buy the land I'm selling. No. We are bringing somebody to you to help you know that, see, if you're going to buy land, this is what you need to do. So they give you objective knowledge. So you don't just invest in real estate and just think, well, this is what I have. So, and you don't need to have a huge money to do that. You can start from where you are. So over to you, Mr. Olatunbosun Oke.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, thank you very much, Mrs. Atewologun. I'm very grateful and I appreciate the opportunity given to me to share, this knowledge. And I believe, every one of us are going to benefit in one way or the other. You see, I'm going to start by way of introducing what we know. I will start from the known to, let's say, the very unknown aspects of what we do in real estate investment. You see, everyone have an idea about how to buy land because we have heard it, we have seen it. Our parents, in one way or the other, have been able to acquire one or two properties. And, the dynamics of a real estate investment is that things are always changing. It's just like human culture. Housing, buying property, real estate investment is just like the way our clothing lines and the way we do fashion is, evolving. That's just the way real estate. So you cannot bring in 10, 20-year-old method and want to come and do it here and now, and you are likely to, put yourself into issue. So I will want to start to introduce how we're going to start today. Our topic is, the topic I was given is how to build a profitable real estate investment. You see, it's a very huge, big topic, and it's something we cannot even exhaust in 30 minutes. Very, very clear, because you see, real estate, it's a very big investment, and because it's a major need that has to do with every one of us. There is no way we are going to put away the need of shelter from human beings. And shelter comes in property. Property becomes real estate. Now, our aim is to impart knowledge and positive knowledge and the application of sound real estate principles, so that in families we'll be able to apply those knowledge and make efficient and correct decision making when we are acquiring property. You see, a lot of families are into a lot of financial mess, and perhaps most people don't know yet, because what they think they've done in real estate investment is no real estate investment. They have some people have thrown away their money, some have tied down their money, some have even been duped technically, but when we want to build real estate investment, a profitable real estate investment, there are principles that needs to be followed, and it's very easy for anybody to become a real estate investor. You don't even have to have all the money in the world. You know, you don't need to be a billionaire or even a millionaire to own a property or to be a realtor. But the bottom line is we need the proper information, we need the normal knowledge, you know, and let me say we need to go beyond the normal understanding. And the first thing we need to do when we want to, when to be making a profitable real estate is to do our research. Research means asking questions. You know, you do visitation, you ask, you visit, you seek professional advice, especially from people that have gone ahead of you in real estate investment. And you know, this cannot be overemphasized, because without information, we are likely to be deformed. Because if you don't know, you just perceive or you just like. You know, it's like when you see a clothes online and you just admire it and you say, okay, and the next thing you want to do is to press the next button of order. You can order the clothes and the clothes gets to you and it's not your fit. Or perhaps the shade of color you saw online is different from the shade that is actually brought to you. So it's very important in doing practicing real estate or investing in real estate to ask questions. You do your own findings. You know, you seek advice from people that knows, especially the professionals, and that is very important. You know, it's not just enough to see an advertisement or to see a social media blog that says, come and buy this land is this apartment is this, pay ₦1 now, get ₦2 later. You know, a lot of schemes are out there now that is actually, you know, devouring people's money. And that we cannot, we cannot say people should not do their marketing. We will not say they should not sell their, land, or they should not do their business. But it's, there is this caveat emptor that they usually say that, buyer beware. It's now the responsibility of the buyer to be sure and to of what he or she is buying. After you ask questions, number two is you decide on the specific property market you want to invest in, you want to delve into. There are three property markets that are very common in our own environment here. We have the residential, we have the commercial, and we have the industrial. Depending on the access to funds and our personal interest, having a commercial property, can be like a shopping mall, shops, hotels, etc. Residential, we know that is a living apartment where people live, where you get rents. For the commercial too, you get rent from shops and malls. For the hotels, yes, they pay for their services when they lodge, and you make your income when you when you separate, when you are able to get your profit margin and all that. And for the industrial, those are for the manufacturing and the big business environment. So depending on how much access that you have to fund is what is going to inform your decision on the specific property market that you want to delve into. For someone, you can decide to want to be building private hostels. It's a very good business, very lucrative aspect of real estate in our present environment here that most people don't look into. It goes beyond you having to put all the money or having a very big land or having a very big investment. It can even take you 2-3 years to have 20 or 15, 18 rooms self-contained, and the return of investment is very good. And you look at it, the cost of maintenance so low. There's water, there's perhaps the environment, school area usually have lights if you are able to get a land that is adjacent or not too far from an institution, maybe a university or a polytechnic, anywhere in Nigeria. It doesn't have to be Lagos or states. This thing sells everywhere and anywhere. So you're going to know where your niche is, where your interest is, where you can manage. That is when you decide on the specific property market you want to, delve into. The next one is identify booming real estate markets. Depending on where your interest is, and like I said, the access, your access to fund, we determine how you relate with the booming real estate market that you want to delve into. Looking at it, it's very easy to say, okay, I want to do commercial property because in Lagos, building a shopping mall is very lucrative, such that before you even finish construction, you have overflowing prospective tenants that are really willing and ready to pay. But looking at it, can you really manage it, or are you going to outsource the management to someone? Do you really have the funds to go by such investment? Is it something that you can do yourself, or you want to give to someone, or you want to source for fund? So the booming aspect now is depending on your interest and your capability. So in other areas too, we have places where residential apartments, for average low income earners, average income earners, apartments of less than 200, 300, 400, 1 million, and the capital intensive one. You identify where your capability, where your financial strength and management can carry, and that's where you can follow. Then you say, okay, this is a booming one, I can work with this, I can work with that, and on and on and on like that. The fourth one said decide. We need to decide on where and how to get finance. In real estate is a capital intensive business, and it's something we know that it's so tax. I saw I'm getting your message, Mrs. Atewologun. You said, can one start a real estate investment with 1 million naira? What is the average amount to invest to start any rental income or appreciation in land? Yes. That question, it's a very straightforward question, considering how the availability of funds. Like I said, yes, it's possible for someone to use 1 million naira, in real estate investment, and you can get your return, because it's only in this part of the world that we don't practice what we call real estate crowdfunding and real estate investment trust. We call it REITs. You see, in this kind of arrangements, you don't necessarily have to be the sole owner of a building. You don't necessarily have to be the sole owner of a land. It's going to be like the coming together of 2, 3, 4, 5 investors that put resources together, develop a place, and they will get their return based on what they have invested. So having 1 million naira in a 10, 20, 30, 40 million naira project can definitely give you a between 5 and 10% return on your investment without any issue. And we have the real estate crowdfunding. The real estate crowdfunding is not so common yet, because the mentality of an average African is, when it's my property, it has to carry my name. When it's my property, when it's a property, it has to be me and me and me alone. There's something we call property portfolio. In property portfolio, it's an aggregation of different kind of property that is being managed by professionals. They will be in charge of the maintenance, liaising with the tenants, collecting rent, doing everything that has to do with the property. And the only thing they do is just to remit the profit to the owner. So ordinarily, you don't even need the tenants or the users does not even need to know the owner, because it is Mr. ABC and EFG, and all the people of so place, maybe 20, 50 people owns the property, and it's a very easy thing that there's a sharing formula that everybody knows what is coming to them every time, every year. So it's an upcoming business arrangement now that we have, that apart from joint venture or developer giving one side of a property when they develop to the landowner, the real juice, the real interesting part of real estate investment is the appreciating state value of property, and the rental value that keep increasing. And if except you're not dealing with a professional, the cost of even maintaining a house is not supposed to, a property is not supposed to be more than 5 to 10% from what you earn. So when it's more than that, definitely the house must be defective or is being poorly managed. So these are just the direct these are direct needs, direct knowledge that you just know and you will have, and you can even keep your money there and you can go and rest, because you know that, okay, the people that are in charge, they are trustworthy and they are going to bring your return as at when due. The next point I want to mention here is, we need to get our details right. There are a lot of information about real estate investment, buying lands, building, title documents around, and it's not peculiar to our environment that real estate fraud is real, and that it happens everywhere, and that's why we must get our details right. And that was why we started this discourse with asking the right question, meeting with the professionals. It's still common among us today that doing land transaction, we still have to see touts, Omo-Oikeh, we still have to talk to people that does not even know the origin of the land they're selling, and they don't even process valid information about the so-called business of land they say they are doing. So, and that's why we as learned people, it's very, very important for us not to throw away our hard-earned money to riffraff, to touts. We must get our details right, because when you look at it, you cannot just afford to want to go to one bush now and they tell you they will do this road construction by next 2 months. Don't worry, just buy the land. It's 100,000 now. By the time they finish this road construction, it will be 200,000, and then 5 years on, the bush now on the land is not even accessible. Like, I have an experience like that where somebody was claiming, this land is so place, let's go and buy it, it's very cheap, don't worry. They said when in like 1 or 2 years we'll be selling it double, triple. I was like, okay, what was the title? They said they are already working on the title from the government office, don't worry. And this is okay. Me, it's quite obvious that they were just ready to just extort and siphon their funds, because at the end of the day, 2-3 years down the line, they cannot even recognize where that site was or the land that was claimed to have been sold to them, because the information they gave them was obviously false. It was just a very simple marketing strategy. You tell the clients what they need to hear so that they can drop money. It's very clear. And that is why every now and then we need to get our details right. We need to ask the right question. We need to seek professional advice. It's only in Nigeria when they want to do real estate business, everybody feels they have one connection, we knows one person, and it does not even want to go through the professionals to even get the land, to get the documents, or to build. And that's why we have disaster in every corner of real estate. Despite the fact that it's a very good business, it's a very lucrative one, there is always an issue at one point or the other. you know. So we really need to, you know, get our details right and know the law, you know the law. Be very, very, you know, careful when the property seems to be cheap. And that is where the cajole of making real estate investments, you know, look, you know, dubious comes in. Because when they come to you and they said, oh, come and buy a land in so place, people are already living there, and you get there and they tell you it's government acquisition, and you have paid them, you cannot sue them, you cannot beat them, then your money is gone. Then you go back to you go back to worse than, you know, the way you have being frustrated. And that's why we need to ask this question. We need to look into details into whatever we are putting our hard-earned money into. You know, we need to be very, 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 you know, detailed in doing real estate transaction. And it's very important because when you need information, it's very easy to get. But the lies are the ones that are flying around. The lies are the ones that are flying around. So I will like to give us, you know, some few tips, you know, about the importance, you know, of real estate investment. And there's one thing I would like to, you know, mention before I go further, that before you do any real estate transaction, try as much as possible to involve a professional. I know in this side of the world, we are always very reluctant to, you know, pay a consultation fee. Like, no, now I have a friend. I have some so person that knows so person that knows so person. Most times, it is not really in the best interest of, you know, us investing huge amount of money doing that kind of transaction, not knowing and not getting the real fact. Because number one, the location, ownership, title, they are very, very important consideration in any real estate transaction. Because looking at, if you look at it, the location, number one, what's the origin of the property? What's the origin of the land? Is it a joint ownership? Is the owner still alive? Yeah, and if he's not, do you have a proper consent of the descendants, like a letter of administration on such property before you proceed on the transaction with it? Because most times, a lot of us, you know, do a lot of things that even after being entrapped, we cannot even tell our neighbor, we cannot even tell ourselves what we have been through. And, you know, it's causing a lot of frustration in families now that, you know, people are now scared of investing in real estate because there's always an information of somebody that got duped, or somebody that lost their money, or someone along the line that was not straightforward at one point or the other, you know, in the line of transaction. So that I want us to note. So the most important part of the benefit of having a real estate investment is, you know, having monthly income. As a family, in a family, there's always a desire to, you know, live a more convenient and comfortable life. And to by and large, you know, financial capability and finances go a long way, you know, making, you know, family to be comfortable. And it brings security, confidence, convenience, you know, whether you're in a rented apartment or you're a landlord or you own property, you know, somewhere, and you're having, you know, return on investment through rent and all that, or you are selling, or you are reselling, or you are doing property flipping, you know, all these things come as a return. But the risk in it, you know, goes more deeper when we don't have proper information about what we are dealing with. So before I round up, I want to see if we have any question. Any question? Question? So in the absence of question, I'll just want to round off, like, as a family, finance is one of the building pillars that makes a family, and real estate investment and owning a property, in a family cannot be overemphasized. But doing it, we need to be deliberate, we need to be intentional, and I call it, we really need to know what we are doing and what we are getting into. It is very important. Thank you very much. Over to you, Mrs. Atewologun. Okay, I got a question now, sir. You want to get some more tips? You can always connect with me on my email, Instagram, or WhatsApp. My contacts will be given, so that, because we will not have enough time, because it's like I said in the beginning, having to build a profitable real estate investment as a topic is a very wild one. Yeah, and there are a lot of perspectives to this topic that we have. So it's not something we cannot explore all. So I'm available on phone, on Facebook, on Instagram, and my mail. So you can always chat up with me. It's very easy and happy, when you do real estate investment right. Thank you very much.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much. You're able to cover so much within such a short time. I'm so happy. Thank you. If you register for this event, then you'll be able to have access to details from Mr. Olatunbosun Oke, from the Telegram group. We're going to send him to an email the information that you can access to reach him, on how you can reach him via telephone, via email, or via social media. You can check all of that up. Once we are done with the conference, we'll be sending to you profile of all the speakers, as well as how you can access them. There's a story, a personal experience I want to share. When I was still working in the bank, myself and some of my colleagues went to check out the land somewhere, and when we got there, we were told that the land, it doesn't have, it's free of acquisition, it's okay. And the people that are selling the land were the ones telling us this, and we're just taking everything they were telling us, hook, line, and sinker. We're not considering, we're already planning that, Funke, your own flat is going to be this side, my own flat is going to be this other side. So we were planning all these things, telling ourselves, when you wake up in the morning, just a few minutes drive from Redeem Camp, and we will just be going, So we're already dreaming and planning that we're going to purchase the land, and because it's a group of us that are buying it, so we're so happy about it. So we contacted someone, and we did a search on the land, and we noticed that it is under acquisition. All that dream that we've been dreaming, everything just went down the drain, because the reality has hit us that land is not available for us. So imagine if you don't have that knowledge. Imagine what would have happened. And there's some other mistakes that families make. They tell you, invest in real estate, invest in real estate. You go buy land somewhere, and in 5 years, the value of the land is still the way it is. There's a professional didn't help you to look at it and tell you this land is not going to appreciate as fast as this other one. So you want to make sure that you explore all these options, and you don't just go all out buying land because you want to buy land. So you don't just tie down your money, and you do everything with sense. Remember, a visionary family is not just, they're not just making money, but they are making money with sense. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Olatunbosun Oke. I'm going to drop it. And if you want to reach him, please register so that we can forward all the details of all speakers to your email. Our next speaker She what we say in pidgin that you tolerate somebody. She totally us yesterday or 2 days ago on Instagram talking about financial, is it ecstasy now? And we're like, wow, what is this? She's really, really awesome. She's special. She's so special. And I love her because she's so real. And let me spotlight her and then I'll bring her up. Okay, I'll spotlight her. Mrs. Amaka Omo-Oikeh is an amazing woman. She's a coach, a parenting coach. She's also into mental health. She wrote a best-selling book. Yay! She wrote a best-selling book titled Disruptive Parenting. And that book is amazing. And because of time, I can't go into long details on her profile, but I want you to know this. She told us about financial orgasm. And I was wondering, which one is this language? I have not recovered from it. And today she's going to go deeper, because when we're saying a visionary family, we need to know that, see, you are not running this race alone. So the only me syndrome has to die for you to be able to run a visionary family. And that's what financial intimacy is all about. So I'm going to leave the floor for her to do what she can do. I want to warn you ahead. You will laugh. She's going to torture you.
Oh, God. Okay. Glad to be here. Somebody roll some drums. Meanwhile, Coach BC, yeah. you just told me that you liked the other room. Because all the things that I said 2 days ago is only financial orgasm you are remembering. I know all of you that some have been sending me private messages. I've been saying all kinds of things, calling me on the phone. All of you, see the way you're one word like this just brought all of you out. Anyways, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. All
right. So I want to start by saying, thank you, sis. This girl that I just heard her voice on you first heard her voice. She's covenant. Glad to have you, sis. Thank you for doing justice. I like the fact that you told them to help us to budget for us because we pay bills too. All right, so I will start by saying thank you, Coach BC. Thank you so much for all you're doing in the family life space. Thank you for the investment, and thank you for thinking for us, and for thinking for everybody who is hearing me, whether you're on YouTube or you're here on Zoom or any of the other platforms. I welcome you to this particular session. Like you said, my name is Amaka. I like to tell people that, among other things, I'm a Jesus girl, proudly and unapologetically, right? Okay, so you also mentioned that, yes, where can I see it? Disruptive Parenting Academy. So writing one book, that one book has put me on several platforms, and the book, had earned me the name Celebrity Author. And I'm excited to be here today, right? Today we're going to be talking about financial intimacy, right? I want to start by saying I hope that I'll be able to do at least go far with the time that I have. Okay, so I want to share a bit, just let us in a little about what the visionary family is about before we get in, and then I'll round off, right? Let me share, what is a vision? A vision is the ability to think about or plan your future with imagination or wisdom. The ability to plan or think about your future with imagination or wisdom.
So people who are not smart cannot be visionary. People who are not intentional cannot be visionary. Right? So what is a vision? That's, I just told us what a vision is. You know why a vision is important to your life and to my life and to every life that wants to lead a legacy here on earth? Know why a vision is important? Because it gives direction to your life. It gives direction. It gives focus. It gives meaning. Because there is a there for every living human being. If you don't have a vision, you will not know where you're going to, and you will not know when you arrive the place there. T-H-E-R-E for you, for your family, and for your destiny. So it's important that you know, you have to get visionary about your family. All right. Vision is also a clear mental picture. A clear mental picture of your desired future. And I will add, this clear mental picture, you are not going to leave it in your mind. You are going to put it down. Scriptures say, write a vision, make it plain, that they may run that read it. So if you leave it in your mind, we ain't going to come to your mind to read what you have in your mind. So you're going to write it down. It's going to be clear. Now that we're talking about the family and the couple's vision, you are going to write it and make it clear so that anybody that walks into your home will read it and know these things apply here, the other one do not apply here, right? A visionary family is a family with the original idea of what the future holds. If you are going to be working with a visionary family, it's important that you understand. A visionary family is that family that has an understanding of the original idea that God has, because God is the originator. God is the producer of humanity. God is the producer, is the one who instituted marriage. So if you are going to make meaning, if your family is going to be a visionary family, your family must have a grip, must have an understanding of what God's plan is for you and your spouse, and then it will be your family incorporated. So it will be an us incorporated. There is a part of making, providing solution. Like Adebisi said, there is a part of not being a part of problem to be solved, but being a global solution provider. There is a solution that your family must bring. To have an understanding of that vision is what makes your family a visionary family, right? This future must be envisioned. Yes, I've said it. So it must be us incorporated. It must be written down. It must be communicated. So don't let your children wake up and they're not sure what your family is about. They don't understand values. For instance, in our home, one of our core values is service. So our children know we are people who serve by default, right? What I'm doing right now here, I am serving. I'm just serving in a different capacity. All right? So please, one thing you must understand is that there is a day for you, there is a day for your family. That is what you and your family is meant to bring to the table. You've got to understand it. You have to communicate it. And I dare say, if you're a man and you are watching this conference or you'll listen up later on, this articulating your family's vision is a lot, is resting, the bulk of it is resting on your head. Your wife is your helpmate. Unfortunately, there are so many families who their head is not the one, it's the neck that's carrying the head. And so the man is not leading and the wife is not following. Unfortunately, for me, one of the things I do is that I don't just tell people, I don't just tell couple what to do, because many times understanding what not to do is as important as understanding what to do. I take that again. Many times understanding what not to do, the road not to take, is as important as knowing the road that you should take. All right? So this family we're talking about, this vision that we're talking about, they are worked through. They must be worked out through the process of goal setting and goal smashing. They must be worked out through the process of goal setting and goal smashing. All right? So you know where your family is going. You know, the setting goals allows you to now begin to, you know, plan your way every day, every week, every month. I've heard both Coach Florence and Coach BC say you will have to write goals. So how do you write the goals? What are you about? It is those what you're about that we determine how you are going to actualize this goal. It's not just about thinking it or wanting it, but we are now beginning to think about, okay, so how do you actualize it, right? So maybe a couple of us understand the strategy, the goal setting strategy that is called SMART. All right, so it must be strategic, it must be measurable, it must, you know, all of those things. When you get that SMART strategy in place, the SMART strategy is not enough. As beautiful as the SMART strategy is in goal setting, it's not enough. There is more. All right, that's why come 27th to 29th of this December, I'm going to be hosting people to a 3 days goal smashing training. These are the people that I'm going to be working with in 2022, right? If you reach out to me after now, we'll find out how to join. And because I am on this platform today, I don't usually do this. This is the first time I'm doing it. But because I'm on this platform today, you are going to get a further discount. You're going to get at least another 10% discount from what the price already is. So if you reach out to me, I would offer you that discount. Why? Because you're showing up here today is a sign that your family finance is important to you, that running a visionary family is important to you. So to whom, because you have showed up, that's why I would add more to you. That platform will cost, normally it will cost maybe something in the neighborhood of 120,000 naira or something, but the price is smashed. So I'm going to give you a further discount. We already have put on if you have seen the flyer, you will see 12,000 naira on the flyer. But because of this platform, I'm going to give you a further discount. If you register for that training between now and the next 48 hours, you're going to pay 10,000 naira, right? Ordinarily, that class is 120,000 naira, and I will run you not just through the three days classes. I will personally walk you through this event, this particular event, right? Is me giving back to society, right? That money is just my sign to know that you are serious. Normally, my classes are not that cheap. I'm a premium paid coach. I'm what's it called? An NLP practitioner, right? And a mental health practitioner. I paid well, right? So that's it for that. But if you're here, congratulations in advance, right? So that's it for that. There are systems upon which deep friendship. I am also an advocate that couples must have deep friendship to be able to connect in ecstasy and bliss. Bliss does not fall from heaven. I tell that again. Bliss does not happen because you said, yes, I do. Marriage, blissful marriages is work. Two people that are married to each other must be intentional, must decide that, hey, they have burned the bridges and they have to get it right. All right? So there are systems upon which blissful marriages are achieved. And one of them is finances. A lot of the marriages that are packing up today are packing up because money this, money that, money the other one. He didn't give me money, he gave me money. And I tell people, you know why we're talking about financial intimacy? If you're not intimate with me with your bank account, it will be difficult to be intimate with you in the bedroom. Don't be deceived. You know those manipulations that will try to think you're a woman, so you have to submit, you're not a man. This one, that one. Don't let anybody deceive you. If you're not intimate with somebody in other areas, you cannot enjoy ecstasy in the other room if you're Nigerian and in bed, right? Somebody says, some will say their spouse is stingy. Your spouse is stingy because you are stingy in bed. Yes, you are stingy financially. So when they go to the other side, I mean, he or she is not interested. And you know, unfortunately, it's not only the women that are having problem there. Some men do too. All right. Okay, so simply put, what is intimacy? Intimacy is intimacy. Intimacy is intimacy. So if intimacy is intimacy, it is intimacy in every area of your life. So it's not only in the bedroom. It's intimacy in my finances. It's intimacy in where I have come from, to this extent that where I have gotten here. It's intimacy what kind of future that I desire. It's intimacy my pains. It's intimacy my vulnerabilities. Right? So it's intimacy. It's not just, I mean, if you're not comfortable with letting your spouse, your husband or your wife know how much you earn, they're not going to be comfortable to allow you to see their nudity in the bedroom. It's a psychology. Right? So, what is orgasm? Let's even talk about this whole thing. That's wow, married people. Okay, let's continue. I love you guys. Be cool. Okay, so what's orgasm? Orgasm is the peak of sexual excitement. There is the confidence that your husband has, that your wife will have, if she knows that when you said you're paid $250,000 per month, that is what you earn. That they're not just guests in how much you earn. That's the excitement that a husband or a wife just knows that we have this, and this is where we are planning to get to, which is why we have to get visionary. You know, there's something about that makes a woman excited when she knows that it's not only when you have a problem that you run to her, that she's the first person that you call when the contract lands. It affects what happens eventually in your bedroom. Right? If you will have reservation as to whether or not you should be financially transparent, you are not prepared for marriage. If you're still thinking, when I get married, is my wife going to know how much I earn? Is not, how will she know? After all, she's a woman. On this one, that one. Men don't know how to do this or they don't know how to do that. So if I get married, is my husband going to know how much I earn? You are not ready to get married. Because couples are meant to be one. Scripture talks about they shall no longer be two. They have become one. So what God had joined together, let no money put asunder. Let not how much you earn become a problem to what God has put together. Right? So another mindset also is, if you think that in marriage, this one, women do it a lot. If you think that in your marriage, the money you make is your money, the money your husband makes is our money, you are not ready for bliss. Right? My time is very 10 minutes. Okay. Anyways, let's see where we get to, right? So accept it. Accept the fact that if you're going to say yes to him or say yes to Karl, that you're saying yes to everything that he represents, you're saying yes to everything that she represents, and you're ready to be transparent. All right. Another thing, also accept your spouse if you are going to be enjoy financial intimacy. If you think that he's not, how much he's earning, he's not going to, you're not comfortable with, don't say yes to him. Right? If you think that because she's not doing the kind of job you think she's supposed to be doing, and you're wondering, should you marry her? Shouldn't you marry her? Leave her alone. Somebody's going to love her the way she is. Somebody's son is coming for her, and somebody's daughter will surely say yes to you. All right? So, a clear family vision and mission is important for you to be able to enjoy financial intimacy and ultimately intimacy in your marriage. Again, they have said it. When you're setting your goals, it's important that you say 10 years goals, then begin to get it down to yearly goals, monthly goals, and then weekly. Then what you do daily to eventually arrive at that destination that you and your spouse are going to. Okay, so I'm just going to, I'm not going to read this scripture for us. Behold, it is Psalm 133. Behold, how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. How good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Permit me to say, read it as, behold, how good and pleasant it is for couples to dwell together in unity. United in every way. United in every way. Let me share this quickly with you. For a spouse, right? What we advise that for every couple, at least have 4 bank accounts. 4. One is a joint account. That's where all the income of the family will come to. 4 bank accounts, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, at least. The first account is where all the income of the family will come to, both the one that the man makes and the one that the woman makes. Then the both of you will sit down and decide the percentage of that income that you are going to save. Most and generally, it is advised that you save at least 20%. All right. Now, you will not, out of that account, you will not have that one that you're saving, right? You put another bank account, that's the second account. That account, you will leave a mandate there that requires the two of you to sign before any dime can be withdrawn from that account. So the 2 of you must sign. Then you have another 2 accounts, one for you and one for your husband. If you're a man, for instance, and you are the one who makes the bulk of the money, you're going to feel used, right? If you never get a percentage of that money that you have earned to go at least take care of yourself, maybe go to the movies, buy yourself a new shirt, a new tie, take yourself out or something, right? So you take a percentage of that money and put in your own account, and then a percentage of it to your wife's account. Then the 2 of you, nobody tells each other what to do with those money in your own personal account. It gives you the opportunity to be human, to feel human, especially in your first 5 years of marriage. So you don't feel like you're lost, got married and got lost. All right? So it helps you to handle your individuality. Okay. So I was saying, there is something about that scripture that I read that will help you in your marriage. The Bible talks about commanded blessing. It says when your wife and you are financially intimate, that you enjoy the 10,000 dimensional blessing. Because that 10,000 dimensional blessing, it has nothing to do with your power. The Bible says, one shall chase 1,000, 2 shall put 10,000 to flight. What does it mean? When one shows up, right, they will start chasing after 1,000. But when 2 appear, 10,000 will take off without their efforts. And permit me to say, with the effort of the supernatural, the one who instituted marriage, God himself. So please, you need to understand that if you are not on the same page, if you are not locked in, not the way that time, check. Most married couple will be they will tell you the truth. It's not every time they meet each other they achieve orgasm. I want to think about that time you achieved orgasm with your wife or with your husband. You know, that ecstasy, that level of intimacy, that level of bonding, that level of satisfaction and excitement. That is what you should be having in the level, in the dimension of your unity in your finances. That is where God's commanded blessing will become your experience as a couple. Unfortunately, a lot of couples don't know that they're shortchanging themselves because they're not financially intimate. So if you are the one who is not allowing your family to be financially intimate, you are probably, permit me to say, the devil that you have been fighting. So don't fight against yourself. Thinking, is she not a woman? What does she know? Or some women, because maybe your husband has lost his job, or you earn more than he earns, so you're like, after all, he's the man. You're saying all kinds of things, you know, derobing him of everything that he represents, the kingship in him, because you're the one who is making the money. No, you are not just changing him. You're changing yourself. You're changing the capacity your family has to take the nations. I know what, even in ministry, there's some things you cannot do until your money is in place. So I'd like you to know that. I'll round off with this. No woman, especially in this side of the world, every time you get a wife to queue up and begin to defend her budgets, you're not doing yourself a good harm. You're doing yourself more harm than good. No woman wants to queue up and explain how much she's using to buy eyelashes, how much she's been to buy pad, how much she's doing to do this and that. And then you get into the bedroom and you expect her to perform. Hello, it's not magic. All right? So I want you to please note, your family will have to be visionary family. You have to understand the place that you are here on assignment. You will have to walk through a vision, a mission statement. Then you must write it down, the goals and how you intend to achieve it. And then please, let me beg you, get united, get locked up. Get locked up with your spouse. You are shortchanging yourself if you're not financially intimate. If you are still trying to find out who does what. If you don't run an us PLC, an us conglomerate, an us incorporated in the area of your finances. Thank you. I don't know if I have time to take one or two questions, but again, thank you very much, Coach BC. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. God bless you for all you're doing. Thank you, guys.
Wow, thank you so much, Mrs. Amaka. Amazing session there. I got lots of value, and I'm happy that you said it the way it is. The synergy that people are looking for is actually hidden in the totality of their intimacy. It's not just a sexual intimacy, but financial intimacy, inclusive. You know, I've had a series of examples, experiences with my clients that they just tell you, that's not how I was raised. I was told that I should have my own thing. A woman shouldn't be trusted, you know, and all those things. And they love their families so much. And we have men living in the grave today, right? I say living in the grave because everybody's alive for life. Okay, the 4 types of accounts, okay? Somebody's asking the question concerning 4 types of accounts.
Okay, so 4 types of accounts, straight. You will have one account, joint account. That's the one all the income of the family comes to. That's also where the family joint expenses are made from. Then a percentage of that account, of the money in that account, will be maybe 10%, maybe 20%, what works for you and your spouse, will be taken out from that account and used to open a savings account where you run the family savings account. That family savings account will have a mandate that until the two of you, husband and wife, signs, a dime cannot be withdrawn from that account. The third account is the wife's account, and the fourth account is the husband's account. A percentage of that income that you bring in as a husband or bring in as a wife, or anyhow, the monies that come to you as a family, will be paid into those 2 accounts. It is your upkeep, is your husband's upkeep, and is your wife's upkeep, right? We encourage that upkeep money. Let your wife's money be a little more than your own, because women have more details to spend money on. Hello. We are fine like that. Let me know if you understand what I said.
So much. Thanks so much. I'm sure some men are thinking, no, she's biased. She's biased. Just to understand this, that see, if you're saying, I want to know detail, how much do you buy Maggi? How much do you buy sanitary pad? How much do you buy this? You're wasting productive time. When you build the right system and the right structure, everything will fall into place. And if you need help, that's why we're bringing this to our knowledge, so that we can understand that there is a problem. If you have such a system and you're missing out on something, so you have enough time to look into it. Thank you so much, Coach Amaka. I'm going to say a comment. Okay, thank you, Coach Amaka. This is awesome. Wow. Yes,
okay, so let me just call my number. Reach out to me after now so that the next speaker, I have to hear her. Hello, 070 11535360. 070 11535360. So reach me within the next 48 hours to enjoy that discount.
If you read the program, we're going to send you Mrs. Amaka's details. Okay, I dropped in the comment section how you can register. Thank you so much, Mrs. Amaka. You are amazing. The next speaker is what I call Mama in your life. She's sweet. She's a darling. She's somebody like a light that brings all the light in other people. If I begin to read her profile, we will not leave here in 30 minutes. She's a John Maxwell leadership coach. She's a mental health coach. She's NLP. She's a marriage counselor. She's in the 5th staircase, living life like, when you're dreaming to achieve certain things, she's living in that life. And every time I come in contact with her, I'm always like, God, I love this woman. So she has a lot to give to us, and she'll be talking to us about balance in the family. Wow, she's looking so sweet. When you want to go all out to make the money, she's going to help you to put some balance in the things, in what you're doing. And you have the floor, ma'am. Let me not begin to just, talk and take all the time. Beauty and brains, yes. And she runs a company called the Beauty Empire, right? So she'll be telling us more as she goes. Thank you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you. Good evening from this side of Nigeria where I am teaching you from. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. Thank you for the beautiful comments. Thank you to Coach Amaka. Thank you to Florence and BC. Thank you to Tubosun. Thank you to Coach Sam, Coach TPF, and everybody that will be teaching tomorrow. I say thank you. So I've been introduced as the Balance Queen, and today I'm going to bring in that financial aspect to balance. I have my notes written down here, so I'll look at my notes as I teach. If we're going to talk about family finance and balance, I think we'll start by defining finance. What is finance? Finance can be defined as the creation, the management, and the study of funds, money, and investments. We can say finance looks at how we make money, how we spend money, and how we manage money. That is to say, how do we invest and save money? There are different types of finance. You have the corporate and the public. But here we're going to be talking about the household finance, which is the family finance. Why, you may ask? Because there's a purpose to it. And what is that purpose? To help people raise, spend, manage, and save money. So if we are raising, spending, managing, and saving money, what next? We should be able to create a balanced system across this purpose. So, to balance your family finance, your purpose, and your happiness is what you're going to be talking about today. What is balance? Balance is a situation in which different elements are equal or in the correct proportions. In this case, we're trying to ensure that our spending, our investing, our saving, our managing evens out. That is to say, they may not be 100% on the same row, but just even it out so that there's a balance. To some people, they call it harmony. Whatever word you want to use, harmony, balance, it doesn't matter. Creating this balance, or like I said, what others call harmony, between your family purpose, balance, finance, and happiness is truly key. How do you do this? How do you balance your family finance and remain happy? Note, when we are talking balance here, balance is not the same for everyone. Balance can never be the same for everyone. So it is not one shoe, fits all. What works for me may not work for Coach Bisi. What works for Coach Bisi may not work for Coach Amaka. So we need to look at what comes in, how we create money, how we raise the funds, how we spend it, and what we invest in. I heard Coach Amaka saying that women have different departments, where money goes into. Our hair, our eyes, our nose, our Maggi, our salt, and our, for men, we shouldn't sit down to explain everything. Just put that under miscellaneous. In this conference, we will learn a lot about how to make money. We will learn how to manage money. We'll learn how to save money, and we're going to learn how to invest money. Some of the coaches have touched some areas concerning this, and I'll be talking about one area. Tomorrow we'll continue. I'd like us to know that when we acknowledge the little things that each family member brings in, there's awareness about family balance. Now, it is not just the paycheck, not just the salary, not just the wages that you bring in at the end of the month. Every little effort that each family member brings in would help us in creating balance. And I'll start by asking us this question. What money beliefs drive you? You have beliefs like money doesn't grow on trees. You need a job to earn money. Only men can make financial decisions. You may have some other beliefs that I don't have here. But if you have a pen and paper, I would like you to write. What money beliefs drives me? Just think about it and put it down. What are your money values? Like I said, it's not one size fits all. If I come around to look at what we are writing, we'll see that everybody has something different on their paper. So write, what money values do you have? How do you approach earning? How do you approach saving? How do you approach spending? And how do you approach giving? There are some homes where the man wants to give everything he makes, maybe to his family members or those who are in need. There are some homes where the woman wants to be, the one who is the giver. How do you approach it? There are values and there are beliefs behind each action we take as family members. What money mindset do you have? I have, and I know that we all have money blocks and false beliefs that, we got from our fathers and our forefathers. Beliefs that, if not reprogrammed, can prevent us from achieving financial success and balance. There are many people who want to be millionaires. But then if you bring out business ideas on how to make millions, they shy away from it or they run away. So look at that thing that is driving you. Are you ready? Because this conference is not just for gist or play. It's the conference that at the end of our 2 days here together, you would live different. It's a conference that at the end of our 2 days here together, you must have set real goals. 2022, I see us having another conference by this time next year, and we have Millionaires Conference. Millionaires sitting down with great mindset, great beliefs, and great goals that they have set for themselves at this conference. Can I hear somebody say, yeah? So, what role does money play when it comes to your career, to your business, and to your relationships? some people will say, like now, person see fine girl like me, I know I don't have money, I cannot go and chase her. I have this, my wife. But this my wife, she likes big things. So how would I spend this amount of money to buy gifts for her? So you see that finance and your relationship, you must create a balance. You must create a balance in your career and in your business. So like Coach Amaka was saying, what goals have you set? Not personal goals this time. Remember, we're talking about family finance. So we all have our personal goals, but what goals have you set for your family financially? Is it to earn more money for the family? Is it to reduce the family expenses? Or is it to live within the family means? What goals have you set? And if you have not set goals, please write it down. Like Coach Amaka has said, there are programs that will help you and teach you how to set goals. Coach BC, our finance coach, will help you. She helps me a lot. So she's going to help you, show you how to set financial goals for your family, if you've not done so already. And in doing that, I want you to dream big. I want you to see a clear, big picture. Don't limit yourself. God does not limit you, so don't limit yourself. You have the capacity. You have the capability to do it. So set goals. We all know that every family member needs money.
Just 1 minute. They are there.
To get them the basic needs like shelter, like food, and like clothes. Where the basic needs are not met, there's tendency for chaos and imbalance. Imagine when a man or the head of the family cannot provide common food. Let me call it common food. Now, not because he's not working, not because he's not earning the salary, but because there is no financial plan. Where there is no financial plan, then there's bound to be failure. So to avoid chaos and imbalance, you must as a family do what? Create a plan and make arrangements to ensure that the basic needs, and when I mean basic needs, I'm not talking about, our makeup, our hair and all of that. I'm talking about food, I'm talking about shelter, and I'm talking about clothes, covering for the children and for the family members. So this alone can bring about stressful condition. When you cannot provide for your family basic amenities, you're bound to be stressed. If you don't handle the situation or manage it well, then be sure that, other medical conditions will crop up. So a good place to begin is to ask, why do couples fight over their spending habits? Why? Can I have someone answer? On mute, please, and then let's share. Why couples fight over their spending habits? Instead of searching for solution, like we're here, we're all getting solutions, we are getting light. Why do couples, thank you, Omolara, why do couples fight? We know that the number one thing that breaks homes is finance. Why is it so? Anybody? Okay.
You can drop your comments or you can unmute and speak.
Ignorance.
Ignorance. Beautiful. I love that. Because they don't know. What you do not know, you will never know if you don't search for answers. Yeah, because they have, Galaxy A02, because they have different spending habits. So that's why we are teaching balance. That the spending habits of the husband and the wife, they sit down together, discuss, and then create a balance. Something that will work for them. Not something that will work for the husband and does not work for the wife, or work for the wife and does not work for the husband. So balance here is something that will work, for the family. Difference in values. Folaho, thank you very much. Difference in values. So I have my personal values. Mr. Josiah has his personal values. When we came together as a family, what did we do? We brought our values together and we saw the need to create our family, the Josiah's family, Team Josiah. We saw the need to create our own values. And so whatever values we have right now is what is running and what is working for us, what we both agreed to work for us. So couples are advised to search for solutions to money-related issues instead of doing what? Breaking out. Sometimes disagreements over money become so severe that they lead to divorce. Because they don't know, because they don't want to know, because somebody is pushing them, you know. Yes, lavish spending most time from the woman. She wants a pink bag, pink lipstick, pink shoe to match, and maybe pink hair, right? And pink pants, right? That's lavish spending. Good. So in order to achieve family balance, it is essential to learn to manage the finance or income. Family income management enables the family members to know, to understand, and to spend the money earned, as well as plan for the future. When we say you should set goals for 10 years, it's not just setting goals by mouth. You're going to talk about the money that will come in, what you will do, what you will spend, where you will visit, the things you will spend the money on, and what you're going to invest in, and how you're going to save. So when a family has a healthy conversation about money, great things can happen. Together they dream and plan and set smart goals for their future. Like Coach Amaka has said, write down your goals, make them specific, make them measurable, make them time-bound, and talk about everything. Talk about everything, from having kids to raising them, from your work to your retirement. Talk about everything. Balance what comes in as income and what you're taking out as expenditure. And expenditure, we know, depends on the size of the family. If I have a kid or I have two, I wouldn't spend as much as someone who has 4, 5, or 6 children. So the larger the family, the more mouths to feed, the bigger the homes, because you need more rooms to contain the children that you have. As they grow, you're going to spend more on education, you're going to spend more on clothing. So it is very essential to know what comes in and what goes out, and what you're going to set aside to create a healthy, balanced life. To do this, you need to take inventory of a few things. Because we're talking about your balance here, is talking about your emotional well-being. So take inventory of a few things, of what is happening now, of what, where you're coming from, where you are now, and where you're going to. When you set financial and maintain financial boundaries, that's another way to commitment. You respect yourself, like we just talked about that woman of pink pants, pink hair, pink. If she has excess money for that, fine. But when the money is not available, she has to set financial boundaries, not just for herself, but for the family. And so this drives me to the question of, how accountable are you? As a man, as a woman, as a family, how accountable are you? If family members have their clearly defined expectations, and then everybody respects that, it's going to help build your family. It's going to help build the relationship you have, and it will help you grow in peace and in harmony. We're not talking about your well-being, but we need to respect what everyone is bringing in to the table. Instead of feeling stressed and being overwhelmed, you will find yourself in a mental condition of smooth emotional peace. So this healthy perspective positions you to be able to accomplish your financial goals. If I'm not well, and when I'm talking about health here, it's like the WHO definition. It is not just the physical health. It's talking about your mental, emotional health as well. So if I am not well, how do I make money? I need to be mentally sound to create money, to raise money, to bring out ideas and solutions that will make us have money and then think about ideas that will help me invest. If we do not create this mental wellness, this emotional well-being, then we are bound to risk conditions, medical conditions. And I'm saying this for a fact because I'm a medical person. Insomnia and other sleep difficulties. I can beat my chest to that. When I didn't have a good financial plan on ground and I was living from paycheck to paycheck, and before the next paycheck comes, I'm already looking for money to solve, problems that will pop their heads up. I used to have sleepless nights, and I know people can testify to that. Sleepless nights, insomnia, weight gain or weight loss, depression, anxiety, over money issues, relationship stress, because you find your husband and wife having problems. And when you ask, you'll be shocked to know that it is a lack of financial plan that is causing all of this. Social withdrawal. You're not able to buy the ashrebi. You're not able to show face at parties and functions anymore because you do not have a financial plan. Someone walked up to me the other day and said, I don't see you dress in the same uniform as people do at parties. And I said, what's that? Do you know how much I used to spend buying ashrebi in a month? Now I've decided to save that money for myself, and I know how much I make monthly. If I show up at your party dressed in what I have and you feel it's not okay, then so be it. So social withdrawal. You can have physical ailments like headache. You can have stomach ache, heart disease, and high blood pressure, where there is an imbalance in the family finance. So I beg us that we don't just learn from here, but we pick everything that we are learning and work with it to do what? To create harmony for us in our marriages and in our family. A lack of income or insufficient cash can affect health, just like I've mentioned, and relationship, and can affect education and spirituality. You realize that, that finance is what really rocks the life of other, dimensions in life. Apart from affecting your health, affects education. How do you pay the children's school fees? How? Looking at the wheel of balance, we see that finance is like that driving force, just like I've said. We need money to function well in all dimensions, in all areas of life. So, how do you create this balance? How do you build it? How do you sustain the financial balance in the family? Action 1, please take your pens and write. Set goals, like we have said. Action 2, identify income and expenses. Action 3, separate your needs from your wants. We all know what needs and wants are in economics. The basics, your food, your shelter, your clothing. Your wants to come to your pink pants, pink this and this has to match. So separate what you really need from what you want. Design your budgets. One of our speakers will be helping you deal with that. Put your plan into action. So don't just set goals. Don't just write and keep and sit. Please put your plan into action. Manage seasonal expenses and then see the big picture. Visualize ahead. In order for you to keep and maintain this balance, communicate with your partner, like Amaka has said. Communicate even up to orgasm level. Communicate. Non-verbal communication and verbal communication. Carry your wife along. Wife, carry your husband along. Keep your lifestyle in check. What lifestyle? Don't keep up with the Joneses. Oh, that's old school. It doesn't work anymore. So keep your lifestyle in check. Don't accumulate unnecessary debts. Don't. It doesn't work. Know that the stress of a financial crisis can put even a wealthy family. You know the wealthy families, right? They have it all. If they don't have a plan, a concrete plan, if they don't have a budget, if they don't have an emergency fund to take care of, unexpected expenses, crisis can happen. So these things are very, very important. Have a written will. Life insurance. a testament. All this can shield your family from financial hardship if anything happens to one spouse, either the husband or the wife. The benefits and the peace of mind having them in place will outweigh the costs of even doing this. If you can't afford anything, or if you can't afford something, please go for the alternative. If you cannot afford canned juice, buy oranges, pineapple, pawpaw, zobo, mix it, squeeze, you will have juice, chill it. If you can't afford to buy dresses in a boutique, please go to a local store and buy. If you can't afford to travel abroad, pick a state in Nigeria, somewhere cool, and then visit with your family. There's always an alternative. What we are here is when you work as a team and stay on track as a team, this will increase your happiness level, thereby leading to family balance. So find your family fulcrum. That's the balance. Like I said, it is not one size, one shoe fits all. We all have it in different forms and ways. This point where you earn your efforts, the money that comes in and what is going out. Yes, after giving your family everything, you save, you invest, no matter how small. Just be determined to do it and then set goals for yourself. You'll be sure that in the end, you will reap whatever you sow. Ensure that you all talk, you discuss as a family, and you come to an agreement, whatever the situation is. Your lifestyle should be in check. Your debt should be in check. The idea I am giving, or the ideas we just discussed, may not be new to you, but it will be useful if from time to time you take stock of financial matters as a father, as a mother, to ensure that the financial situation in your house is consistent. It will help you create a very beautiful balance. When you find balance and a way to be content as a household and put your financial situation under control, you will create a happy family. Remember the times that we have to care for our aged parents. If you can't afford to get a home for them outside, what do? Bring them into your home, create space, and then save money. Everything you can do to save your family income bit by bit, please and please, let what we have at the back of our mind be that we are creating a healthy balance. So plan for the long term and save for the short term, and be prepared for whatever comes your way. And you will ensure that your family finance is balanced. Thank you very much.
Wow. Wow, Mama Edie, you just blew my mind. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Mama Edie, the balance queen. Now you see why we call her the balance queen, right? She's good like that. And honestly, for her to have done this in 30 minutes, it's a lot. It's a lot. Thank you very much, Mama Edie. Thank you. So we want to ask questions from all the speakers that have spoken from beginning till now. I want us to ask our questions. Drop your questions and drop your aha moments. You have, there's a particular time that you got something and it gave you this wow, a feeling of, wow, I love this, or I got this. I want us to drop in the comment section. You can also put in, you can do a screenshot and do a financial intimacy very well. Wow, thank you very much. You can go on social media on your pages. You can talk about your experience, about the Family Finance Conference 2021, your aha moments, what you learned. Share, because as you learn, as you're sharing with other persons, it also helps your learning. It helps to retain it. So it's very important that we don't just learn, we don't just take it in, we also learn to give it out. So that 1 year time, your social media handle is going to remind you that 1 year ago, you were at Family Finance Conference 2021, and this is what you learned. So do this and use the hashtag Family Finance Conference 2021 in your comments. It's very, very important that you do all of these. If you've seen something, if you have learned something today, if your 3 hours is actually worth it, then I think I can go to sleep and be rest assured that I'm happy that we put all of this together. Okay, and tomorrow is going to be amazing. Tomorrow is loaded. It's loaded with so much value because the mind is very important. The mind is where is the engine room of how we relate, how we think, that has that beliefs, that helps us to determine the performance that we'll be having. So we are going to be having another person, Coach Sam, come speak with us about mental health and family finance. We're also going to have Mrs Adebisi Atewologun talking to us about Plan B options. Plan B options might not necessarily mean that you're going to be making money out of it, but you're saving money out of it, because the knowledge that you'll be sharing is going to help you create options for yourself. You know, a lot of times we've been raised in our various homes and we've been taught how to prepare our own natural, traditional dishes. We didn't learn how to bake cake. We didn't learn how to do some of those things because we were not taught that it's very important. Thank you. So, but when we embrace a visionary family mindset, right, we'll be able to raise our children with a cross-cultural exposure to food, to beliefs. So you don't just tell them as an evil child, you have to believe, you have to do this. You'll be telling them as a global citizen, this is what you should do. As a global citizen, value to life is very important. As a global citizen, a Yoruba person is not superior to an Igbo person, because some families, they do it unconsciously, and it affects how those people relate, those children relate when they become adults. You know, so being a visionary family is actually beyond the naira and kobo. It's actually a holistic thing. And when we have this mindset, we raise children that are ready for global influence. And that way, when they begin to see global opportunities, they don't shy away from it. They don't think, I can't do it. They don't think that they are small in their own eyes, because they're not looking at their place of birth as a limitation. Come 12 o'clock tomorrow, we'll be starting. And I want to encourage us to invite as many people as possible. I'm going to be sharing the link out before that time on my social media handle and to other people. It's very important that we join in early so we can make the most of it. In fact, there's a special surprise that we'll have for us at tomorrow's session, and it's going to be a life-changing opportunity. So I don't want you to miss it at all, because all those things that I've been saying, if you're not intentional, if you're not deliberate, you just be living life on default, and default is not going to do it for us. Default will not do it for a visionary family. There's a level of intentionality. And you know, when a couple is always talking about, we don't have money for this, there's no diesel in the car, there's no diesel for Jen, there's no this, and you're just talking, your conversation around finance is always about, this is what we need, this is what we need, then there is a problem, because what it means is that you've not had a conversation around it before it happened. It's commencing 12 p.m. Nigeria, West African time. So because you don't have a system in place, that's why your conversation is always around the sun. It's reactive. It's prone to conflict. It doesn't help your intimacy level, because your conversation should be about how, should be in a way that you respect you say, wow, you made a great point. Wow, you said this. But if it's about reactive incidences about finances, then there's a lot of pressure. And that way, everybody has their own opinion. They just keep it to themselves. If you're not intimate financially, all of this is going to rub off on your parenting. It's going to rub off on your long-term goals. At the beginning of the session, I talked about the fact that we have 7 phases in family finance. And I talked about before, yes, I do. There's some things that you have to know. There's certain questions that you have to ask, so that you can know whether this person you want to spend the rest of your life with is a spender or is a saver, and so that you can begin to test the waters and know what to do and what not to do with the person, right? The second phase is the Mr. and Mrs. phase, which is the time where you begin to talk about those policies. Now that we are in, you can have access, right? But before as you're having access, you have a system around it, so you're protecting yourself. You don't feel used. Some men feel like they're ATMs because they keep giving out. They just keep spending, and They just keep giving because they've been conditioned to think that they have to be like that. It has to be like that. Meanwhile, they have daughters that are going to send to the best schools. They're going to make sure that their daughters are graduates. When those children become graduates, they will expect those daughters to maximize their brain, maximize their potentials, and do so well. Meanwhile, they have wives that are struggling with finances. They don't take time to empower those women. When they make mistake 5, 10 times, say, no, I've given up on you. I'm not going to make you have access to my money. You see, if you're a visionary family, you don't think that way. You think long term. And you see that it is your cross. Whether the person's strength as well as the person's weakness is your cross. And if you don't get help, you don't do things the right way, it's going to cause a lot of problems for you in the future. So you don't want that at all. You have to be intentional. I can't emphasize this enough. But I would like for us to say thank you to everyone that joined from the beginning. I'd love to start mentioning names if you don't mind. We have Coach Amaka here. We have Bedeline Ogwu. We have Pasoyin. We have Coach Flo. We have Fumilayo. Galaxy L2. I don't know your name. The more coach in the building. Thank you for coming. Mr. Labisi Oladejo is one of our speakers for tomorrow. Thank you for coming. Olaitan Olufolahan Ilori. We have Mrs. Tosin Olupaye, the Sparkles coach. We have Omolara Akonde, Omori Sola, Olu Areola. We have Mary Moran. We have Yetunde Shono. We have Mr. Sheikh Shono, and we have Tinu Phillips. Thank you for staying all through to the end. I want to tell you that this investment that you have made is not going to go in vain, because it's going to put a shift in you. And I encourage you to please put them to practice. Some of them you know already, but putting the spotlight to it is going to help you become better in your finances. And I'm telling you, we are ready for you. By the end of tomorrow, you're going to ask yourself, what kind of grandma or grandpa do I want to be? Is it a grandpa that will say, hello, I just had a child? And your child will say, and don't worry, I'm calling my lawyers, set up a unit for the name of my grandchild. When you're done with the naming ceremony, we'll regularize. But effective today, in 21 years time, this child will have access to this money. It is intentional, because we have to get to that. We have to be intentional about it. Generational blessings is real. And you can't achieve it when you're not working in units with your spouse. You can't achieve it if you're still living on auto suggestions, old syllabus, and all those things. You need to unlearn, you need to remove some things, you need to learn how to do it, so you build the right structures in place. So you want to make sure you stay hanging tomorrow, stay from the beginning all through to the end, and hear what we have for you, because all the speakers are going to blow your mind, I can assure you. CPF is joining us all the way from Canada, even though we're not sure yet whether she'll be coming, but I can assure you that everybody that will be speaking tomorrow is going to put you on your toes. So as you're writing your goals for 2022, you know what you're writing. You have a more objective information that, see, this is what I want. You don't just do it like you used to do it anymore. You're more focused. You look beyond your nose. You see into the future, and you're future forward in your actions. So you know that this is where you're going. So that's going to influence what you're doing here and now. At this point, I will say thank you very much for coming. Thank you, everybody, even those that have left and watching the replay. Thank you for joining. Don't just join, implement it. Bye for now.